Over the years, George Lucas has went from revered filmmaker to critically panned cash-in artist. After a hot streak of writing and directing that included American Graffiti, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and some will say right through to '89 with Return of the Jedi, Temple of Doom, Willow, and The Last Crusade, he quickly lost favor with the Star Wars prequel trilogy and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, perhaps realizing that time on this earth is limited and can be spent in better ways than listening to whiny nerds on the internet tell him how much he sucks, when Disney came knocking, he cashed out. To the tune of $4.05 billion. That's the amount of money George Lucas sold LucasArts and Lucasfilm for. I read an article from years ago that said he would be donating most of it to charity. No doubt the guy didn't need the money, but to put it in perspective, if you got to a point in your life where you were making $50K a year, starting at the age of 30, and could keep that job for as long as it took to make the amount of money George Lucas got from his little yard sale of intellectual properties, you'd have to live to the age of 81,030. Now, by that point, $50,000 a year would be a pretty shitty salary. With inflation being what it is, you'd probably be making less than a McDonald's employee on the colonized moon city of New Hampshire. Just kidding. Humanity's not colonizing shit. The species will be dead by then, just shitty bones scattered around a scorched earth, but the point is that it's a lot of fucking money, which will be important in a minute or two. Lucas has turned into one of the sniveling nerds that he probably hated during his career, shitting on the new Star Wars movie, which I've seen and, I gotta say, is pretty fucking good. Breaking his silence about the new movie during an interview with Charlie Rose, he said this.
They wanted to do a retro movie. I don't like that. Every movie I worked very hard to make them different. I make them completely different with, different planets, with different spaceships.
So he was upset that the sequel to his movies contained recognizable characters, technology, and themes that everyone's been wanting to see more of since 1983, while adding only a few new things. No one wanted a completely different experience. You go to a Star Wars movie to see Star Wars stuff. Fans want to know what became of the Rebels and the Imperials. It wouldn't make sense to change everything completely. Is Jakku basically Tatooine? Sure. Although that's like saying Iraq is basically the same as Iran because they have similar climates. And I'm sure people from those two countries would highly disagree with that statement. Could X-Wings and TIE fighters have been a bit different? I don't know. I mean, why would they be, though? Militaries use the same shit forever. The US has been using M1 Abrams since 1980. And the new characters are different than the old ones. It's not like Rey was just a Luke clone. Luke was a whiny little bitch who grew up with his aunt and uncle, worked on a farm, complained that he couldn't go to Tashi Station, and bragged about killing innocent womp rats. Rey was an orphan scavenger, with probably the weirdest tan lines in the galaxy, who had to work and fight for every bit of food. No family to give her some free blue milk every day. But if Lucas is pissed off that they're using his ideas and themes, he's the one who sold them for all that money I mentioned earlier. During the interview, he referred to the movies as his kids and says this.
I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and okay, but I mean...
And then laughed awkwardly, as I'm sure he realized what a fucking idiot he is the instant he said that, but just in case he didn't, sold them to white slavers. First off, it's a movie franchise, they're not people. Yeah, let's just downplay years of horrible treatment of minorities, actual human fucking beings, by comparing it to selling your sci-fi laser sword and spaceship shooty movies. And this is what you wanted. You wanted to retire and let someone else deal with it, because you were sick of the fans and making big budget movies. You know exactly what Disney is, you know what they're interested in doing, and you made $4 billion to sell them. And you thought, what? You'd also get to have final say in any new shit? You don't sell a car to someone, a more apt analogy, and then say, hey, by the way, you gotta put premium gas in it and only use synthetic oil and, oh, you still gotta let me drive it or else I'm gonna be really pissed off. You cashed out. You have no more say, which is probably a good thing given the prequel trilogy, or doing stupid shit like adding a song and dance number to Jedi. And really, that's the real reason why you're pissed. This new Star Wars movie is getting better reviews and a higher IMDb rating than your last 3 outings. It's made more money than all 6 of them, and could even beat the adjusted for inflation numbers for the original trilogy, which, don't forget, they released at least twice in theaters for full runs. And you had nothing to do with that. You're so fucking envious that your plaid shirts are turning green. You wish your last Star Wars movie received this much praise. And instead of just being happy that the thing you originally created is getting so much love, you go and make stupid comments about Disney being white slavers, because a movie isn't the same movie you'd make, which I know he apologized for, but apology not accepted. He's not some dipshit 20-something celebrity getting emotional and spouting off on Twitter. This is a grown man doing an interview that he had time to prepare for who should know better. Georgie could have just been a good boy and released a statement saying, "Glad it's doing well, and happy that the fans are enjoying it, and that the universe I created continues to be so loved 38, 39 years after I originally created it," and left it at that and stewed in private. You didn't need to give people another reason to hate you. You already gave us Greedo shooting first, and Jar Jar, and Metachlorians, and annoying child Anakin, and Padme dying of a broken heart, and Vader's weird yelling, and basically all 2 hours and 22 minutes of Attack of the Clones. You made your choice. You gave up control for $4.05 billion. Hardly slave wages, that's for fucking sure. You want it back? Given the projections of this and the future films, TV shows, and merchandise, I'm sure Disney would sell it back to you for a cool, I don't know, 8, 10 billion? If you don't have that kind of money now, you could always go on Dragon's Den or Shark Tank and ask them to invest. Though, I imagine if you told them you were going to use it so that you could make more Star Wars movies, they'd probably all be out.